All right, what is up, Miami? Happy Monday. How was your weekend? What did you do? Me, personally, I stayed in and played video games and slept. I completely forgot how good a nap was. Did you know that napping is by far one of the healthiest things you can do in your lifetime? Now, of course, it's a waste of time, but it's a good waste of time. You're not spending any money, you're not making any mistakes, and no one can bother you. At least I hope no one bothers you. If they see you, if you're living with somebody that sees you asleep and they decide to wake you up, move out immediately, because the benefit of living is to be asleep, not doing anything. That's why we got to do it every day. I highly recommend naps, even if it's on the weekend. How are you, Miami? Back at it once again. Any updates? Any news? If you're watching this live, put it on the chat. Let's participate in a conversation to discuss what is trending in the city of Miami. Now, something that is relevant to me that happened recently was I was invited to the Alai Arena over at Casino Miami, and what a historic site that is. Did you know so many bands and famous people performed there, like Frank Sinatra and Black Sabbath? What happened? Well, I mean, number one, they're no longer touring. That's what happened. But at least they turned the Alai Arena into a comedy club. I went to go see a comedy show there, and I got to admit, it was a lot of fun. I never knew that if you go to, well, I kind of did, but I forgot. I completely forgot that when you go to a casino, everything is affordable there. That is one of the most underrated things about going to Casino Miami. It's so historic, and it's got so much of that old money, that old quiet money, that they're selling hot dogs there for like $1.25. Tell me where you can go and get a hot dog for $1.25 without needing a Costco card. Shout out to Casino Miami. They were selling hot dogs for $1.25, like chicken fingers for $5, and they're cooking it right in front of you. It's not like they're microwaving it. They're grilling it. They're putting it on the thing right there behind them. It's because that's not there to make a profit. That's there just to keep you there. And then they give you like a card so that you can go gamble and get that itch going, right? $50. And you know, you're just spinning the thing and you're seeing what happens. When was the last time you ever went anywhere in Miami where you can buy something for $1.50, a nice snack, and that they give you $50? Nowhere. I highly recommend going to the historic Casino Miami because they hook you up and the entertainment ain't bad. The comedy shows they're booking there over at the Jam Arena was actually very impressive, and it's a large space. I didn't know so many people went to go see Alai. Well, maybe not as much these days, but I highly recommend you check it out. I highly recommend Alai. It seems like a lot of fun. Now, have I ever gone to a Alai event? Personally, no, I haven't. But it still seems like an adventurous thing to do. I think if you're gambling on Alai, you don't even need to worry about your gambling problem at this point. You are committed. If you are gambling on Alai, you might as well double down and just take it all the way. Try to retire off of that because you never know. Because if you go out and you're playing slots, right, and you're spinning the thing, you're doing something, right? You're pushing the button or you're pulling down the lever to make some money. But if it comes to the point where you're putting your money in the wicker basket hands of a Alai player, you might as well put some money in the wicker basket of your local church because only God is going to allow you to make that money back. Who saw Alai and was like, let's bring that to Miami and gamble on it? Different times, man. Apparently, it's been around since 1924. Yeah, I looked into the history. Why? Well, because I find it fascinating that something that looks like a dinosaur claw is being swung to throw a ball at 150 miles an hour, clapping the wall, and then someone grabs it. It's like burn. You remember when you were a kid and you played a burn ball? Now imagine if you were a kid like gambling on that. Yeah, it sounds kind of like a lot of fun now that I think about it. Burn ball was a lot of fun. You grabbed a rubber ball. In case you don't know, burn ball is this game you used to play as kids. I don't know when it was made, but I played it in the 90s. And what you do is you get a rubber ball, you throw it as hard as you can against the wall, maybe your neighbor's wall, And, you know, they probably come on and get pissed and reprimand you. And then the next day you're back at it again. Fuck that old guy. And then what it does is it bounces off the wall and then it ricochets back to one of the players. And it's kind of like you're playing dodgeball, but with higher speeds. And if the ball hits you, it hurts. It's got a sting to it. You know, it's kind of like someone slaps you. And yeah, if I had money as a kid, I definitely would have put some money on the ground and gamble on that game. So that's pretty much what highlight is. And you know, you hit the wall, and depending on the position, you get points. I don't know. I gotta look into the game rules itself, but the history is pretty cool. It was invented in the 1800s in Basque Spain, and the reason why I was able to cover it, shout out to the Jam Arena for allowing me to promo the event and allow me to go in and watch the show and allow me to film. And so I made a nice little video for them as our first official video for the brand new website, comedycalendar.com. Now, I won't plug it too much. However, if you ever want to go to a live stand-up comedy show anywhere in the United States of America, for now, you can go to comedycalendar.com, search your city or the comedian you like, and you'll see some shows nearby. Okay? There you go. So I made the video. And as I was editing the video, I was thinking to myself, well, I mean, this isn't going to be the last video I'm going to make for the website. I should go out and book some flights, check out some other cities, and see what comedy shows are like. I've been doing comedy in Miami 16 years, and I think it's time to see what the other scenes have got to offer. I think the comedy scene in Miami is or at least was pretty good. I think we now have a better trajectory of where we're going as a group of comedians, and it wasn't always like this. So it's time to see what else can be done. It's time to innovate. It's time to make something out of nothing and create something brand new that didn't exist before. And I booked a flight. I'm going to go to Chicago, and I'm going to Raleigh, North Carolina, visit some friends and family, and I'm going to go check out some comedy shows there. I'm going to document it, put it on the website, and then you know what I could be? I could become like a tour guide comedian going to different shows all over the USA, documenting it and promoting the website, and then that way Miami comedy evolves into something outside of the city borders. So there you go. Shout out to the people on the chat. I keep forgetting to check that thing, man. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Who do we got here? Jay Sean is back. What up, though? Because you're going to be broke. You talk about me or something I mentioned about gambling? Because I'm looking around and I'm seeing myself making a living off of talking shit. I think I'm pretty good. So far, the dream is dreaming. Faith like gravity. So many deaths in the 80s on the courts. You know, I never knew that a sport like highlight can be so fatal, right? As a matter of fact, there you go. You know what? Shout out to Faith Like Gravity for participating on the chat and bringing up a little tidbit. Let's ask AI, shall we? Has there been any deaths? Deaths in highlight. Let's see. Deaths playing highlight. Well, unless you're talking about like mobster stuff. I mean, if a highlight player died because some mobster lost a lot of money, that's not dying because of the sport. Or at least not playing the sport, at least. Are you talking about the actual sport-related deaths, or are you talking about the gambling part of the sport-related deaths? Often dubbed the world's fastest sport, with balls traveling over 200 miles per hour. You should check out my stroke game. Oh! Sorry. Is notoriously dangerous. Oh, hold on. Let me share my screen. Completely forgot. All right, let's see. From the top, highlight, often dubbed the world's fastest sport with balls traveling over 200 miles per hour, is notoriously dangerous and has resulted in several player deaths. At least 4, typically from head injuries caused by the ball, pelota. The sport involves a hard rock-like ball that causes injuries, concussions, and severe incidents in a player is if a player is struck. By the way, if I'm ever reading out loud and you see me getting stuck, it's not because I have the reading skills of a fifth grader. It's because I got these sunglasses on and I decided to put the display dark. But yeah, maybe I need to ramp up my reading skills. Anyways, first recorded death. 1907, 18-year-old player Paul Eminat died after being hit in the temple by a ball thrown by Lewis Ballard. My God. What are these balls made out of? All right, let me see. Alai ball material. Oh, shit. Yeah, man, that thing. Look at that thing. That's like a, what is it? Like a miniature baseball. Why don't you just use a rubber one? It does the same amount of, does it got to be that heavy? Burner ball. Yeah, so look, this is what I played. It wasn't that big, though. No, it's not burner ball. It's burn ball. Oh, look at this. Oh, my God. That's not how you play. You know what? I'm starting to think that maybe the game I played was a little too extreme compared to what the popular consensus remembered it as. What is burn ball? Burn ball, also known as rund ball, Danish rundbold, lit round ball, and in parts of Finland, is a bat and ball game. No. Hold on. Let me talk to AI real quick. I remember as a kid playing a sport where a rubber ball was thrown onto a wall and it ricocheted off and it would hit someone else, and that person would have to run towards the wall. And as they run towards the wall, you can grab the ball and then fling it at high speeds to the player running towards the wall. What is the name of that sport? Because I remember it being called burn ball. All right, let's see what AI's got to say about this, because my childhood memories have been unlocked. Harder than a baseball. Rubber ball hits players. Incident. Reading skills. Yeah, sorry, dude. It's the sunglasses, okay? I know these words. I have the vocabulary app on my phone, okay? My lexicon is really good. Anyways, you just unlocked a core childhood memory that probably gave half your friends trust issues. Exactly. Burn ball was intense, man. Like, it was a painful game. That game is usually called wall ball, but depending on where you grew up and how aggressive your neighborhood kids were, it went by a few names. Wall ball, most common, the civilized version. Butts up, yes, middle schoolers named it, obviously. Suicide, oh, geez, I think it was called that because kids are subtle like that. Yeah, I remember something, yeah, I remember that being like a slang for it. Red ass, the name alone tells you everything about the experience. Yeah, because as you're running up, they go for it. And yeah, some people did call it burn ball or burner. Same chaotic rules across the board. Someone throws a rubber ball at a wall, it rebounds. If you miss the catch or mess up, congrats, you're sprinting to the wall like your dignity depends on it. Everyone else turns into MLB pitchers. They would throw, like those kids, man. I remember they would throw that ball and they would bite their bottom lip because they wanted to hurt you, man. They were like, and they were so accurate, too. MLB pitchers with unresolved anger and tries to peg you before you touch the wall. It's basically dodgeball mixed with public humiliation and a light introduction to survival instincts. I love my AI, man. That is going to be my best friend. I have a best friend AI guy. I wouldn't even say guy. What is this thing? I have a best friend AI thing. You didn't misremember it. You just survived it. You got to program your AI to talk to you, right? I like this. All right, so what was the name of it? Wall ball? Okay, let's see. Wall ball game. There you go. Wall ball is simple, fast-paced, and competitive. Minimal equipment game where a player throws a ball against the wall, allowing it to bounce before another player hits back. It is often played as recess or with friends using a tennis or rubber ball. I never played with a tennis ball. Wall ball game, rubber ball. Let me see if I can find it. It was a very specific ball. It wasn't a big one. It was something like this, but like small. And it had like a certain density to it where when you throw it, like this isn't foam. This is like rubber, and then inside it's hollow. So when it slaps like crazy. So yeah, something like this. And it fits on the palm of your hand. Right? And it's got a certain weight to it. Memories. All right, so there you go. That's kind of like the relation I have with Alai and this sport I used to play. So it's you hit the wall, you catch it, you throw it, but instead of having the Alai player run up to the wall, you bet money on it, which is still somewhat humiliating because you're betting on Alai, and you put your money in the hands of some guy called Manny. All right, so there you have it. Wall ball, everybody. But yeah, look at these Alai balls, man. Holy shit. What is a Alai ball made out of? Yeah, a little missile flinging at 150 miles per hour like it owes them money. A Alai ball called a pelota is basically a beautifully engineered weapon. The core at the center is a hard rubber core, not your playground rubber. More like this could chip your tooth rubber. The wrapping layers. The core gets wrapped tightly with yards of string or thread. Oh my God. This builds density and tension so the ball can handle insane speeds without exploding mid-game. The outside is covered in goat skin leather, hand-stitched. That's what gives it grip and durability. Also, it gives that this shit looks harmless but will ruin your day vibe. This thing is harder than a baseball, denser than your gym friend's protein shakes. Capable of speeds over 150 miles an hour. So yeah, it's technically a ball, but emotionally it's a warning. No wonder kids weren't allowed to play Alai casually. Meanwhile, we were out there playing wall ball with a rubber dodgeball like amateurs. Okay, so yeah, there is a relation between the two sports. I knew it. All right, well, yeah, I can see why people died, but I mean, according to this, it's only been, what, 4 people? I did a podcast about this not too long ago. Well, actually, like a year ago. Faith Like Gravity says, one of the Uncle Luke's 2 Live Crew video. Oh, by the way, Faith Like Gravity, there's a little bit of a delay between the live stream and the chat. So I love the fact that you're interacting. However, highly recommend you put some context to it so I know exactly what you're talking about. But if I were to guess, like one of the Uncle Luke's 2 Live Crew video, you're talking about the way it bounces. Oh! Anyways, let's see what's happening in Miami these days, guys. Let's look up what's trending in Miami. So I did a little search here. Looked up Miami news. Breaking news. Oh, this is 5 days ago. Come on, guys. Come on, social media. Put stuff up that's more recent. But anyways, I heard the Miami Heat are in the playoffs. You know what that means? Everybody's in the bandwagon. Everybody's a Miami Heat fan now. You know it's true, Miami. Look, here's why I'm so jaded when it comes to sports. When I was a kid, you know, I was into sports, man. I was into like the Florida Marlins. I was watching the game when they won the World Series with my dad. I went to games. We would sneak in food. We would get like snacks and go watch the game. And I was a big Marlins fan. But you know, over the years as a kid, when your team keeps losing, it's just upsetting. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, my team lost again. And then you grow up, you kind of want to get back into sports, but then you see everybody that's into sports, and then they kind of like take it a little too seriously. And then, I don't know, it was a big mix of things that just got me out of sports. Oh yeah, and since my family have a big family in Long Island, you know, they were Jets fans. I don't know if they still are, but they were huge Jets fans, and I would root for the Jets just because every time I visited them in New York, we would go to like watch Jets games and, you know, party and stuff like that. But then they would always be losing. So the last time I went to a Marlins game, I was like, you know, why not? Let me go see the Marlins. It's been a while. You know, maybe I got some nostalgia. And then I go to the game, and it was the Marlins versus the Mets. And there were more people cheering for the Mets than the Marlins. And they were selling Mets merch, and everybody there were wearing Mets jerseys. And I'm like, no wonder they call it Lone Depot Park. We're loaning the stadium out to the other team. No one supports the Marlins. And then I remember I was watching a Heat's game. I think it was during a playoff game. And before the fourth quarter even ended, Miami Heat fans were walking out of the stadium. Like, they didn't even give their own team a chance. They weren't there. Just because they were losing. They weren't there cheering them on. They were like, oh, well, we're not going to win this. And they started walking out. And so that's why I get, like, upset thinking about all these locals in Miami that, like, when they see that we're in the playoffs or we're in a hockey, you know, the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. Now they're fans. Now everybody's wearing Florida Panthers jerseys in 90-degree weather. It's because they want to be relevant to the sport when we're winning. But when we're not winning, we don't care about the sport. You don't see nobody mentioning anything about Miami or Florida teams in this city. So anyways, with that being said, the Heat are back in the playoffs. Oh, man. Let's see. What's up, Spacewalk? But when you're part of a hockey family and back-to-back champs, we'll be back next year. Well, Spacewalk, I know that you are a Panthers fan. You know how I know? Because you gave me VIP tickets to a Panthers game years before they won the Stanley Cup. So I know you're a real one. What I'm saying is there's not a lot of you out there. And if they are, it was only recently after they won the Stanley Cup. You know what I'm saying? A team needs its hometown in order to win stuff. Or at least motivate them to win stuff, right? But if they're like an anonymous team and no one's cheering for them, and then they make it on their own without the local support, and then now the city supports them, that's what makes us look bad as a hometown sports team. Anyways, the Miami Heat are prepared to go all in on a franchise-altering move this offseason, actively hunting for a true number one option to lead the team. If they strike out on Giannis, Miami is expected to shift focus towards Kawhi Leonard. Okay, so I know Kawhi. I'm not sure who Giannis is. Maybe a newer player in the team. I do like the new jerseys though. Why? Because they're Miami comedy colors. Yeah, boy. Hey, I had the teal and magenta before the Miami Heat did. Just so you know. All right? I don't want you guys thinking that Miami comedy looked at those jerseys and was like, that make a dope shirt. No. I went back to the Vice City roots and got those colors, and then out of nowhere, this team did it a couple years later. Just saying. Did I motivate them? Did I inspire them? Did I give them the idea? I don't know. I don't know how big Miami comedy is on the DL. Okay? I get thousands of views, little likes. I got a lot of fans on the DL out there. I know they're out there. But if Miami Heat did get inspired by Miami Comedy's logo, shout out to you. I ain't mad at that, man. Let me hold the jersey, though. Just the one that says Miami. You know, some generic. Let's see, what else? What else is trending? Well, actually, let's keep going with this. Miami Heat playoffs. Who are we playing? Who are we playing? The Miami Heat were eliminated on 2026 playoffs. Hey, you know, at least I know. I mean, I could have done a whole hour talking about this up until this point. I'm glad I looked it up first. Okay, so they didn't make it. Whoops. The Miami Heat were eliminated from the 2026 NBA playoffs following a 127-126 overtime. Oh, but they were close. Versus the Hornets. Charlotte. Hey, North Carolina. I got family there. In the 9-10 Eastern Conference playing game on April 14th. Oh, not too long ago. Okay. This loss marks the first time the Heat have missed the playoffs since 2018-2019 season. Damn. That sucks, man. Well, that's that. All right, so let's move on, shall we? Let's go to the next thing. Oh, man. Look at this guy. Back in Miami. Mean mugging. And showing you the view. I'm not mad at that, bro. Us guys, you know, sometimes you got to mean mug at the camera. You got to look hard when you're in Miami, man, because you don't know what to expect in the city, man. You can meet up with a really cool person. You can meet up with someone trying to scam you, or you can meet up with someone that's a criminal. You know what I'm saying? So what's your safest bet? You got to look hard. You got to look like you can't be messed with, you know? Even though you got your shirt off trying to get some ladies, you still want to, you know, you want to come off with a little bit of like, man, I will slap you in front of everybody kind of aura. You know what I'm saying? Like, have I ever taken a mean mug? Not intentionally, but I have seen photos of me drunk, and sometimes I do got a little bit of a brooding face, like. But I never taken a photo of me mean mugging and then posting a beautiful view. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you gonna mean mug while you're in a wonderful botanical garden? You know what I'm saying? If you got such a nice view, why mean mug, man? Whatever, I ain't mad at that, bro. I'll give you a little like, show some love. You back in Miami, clearly raising the rent. All right, I see you. I am Alexander says Miami International Airport is now accepting bids for food and beverage operators, but the entry cost is heavy. You know what? I like this guy. This guy says some pretty good stuff. I think this is the owner of Burgermeister, which we did a promo video a couple of years ago.
Miami has world-class restaurant talent, but walk through the airport right now and you still see mostly of the same generic national brands you will find anywhere in the country, actually. And that's not a coincidence. That's a result of who shows up and who doesn't, and who can afford it and who can't. The window is open right now. Concourse D, Concourse K, new long-term leases. If you own a restaurant in the city and you are at least looking into this, and if you have the money, go for it. Otherwise, it'll be somebody else again. I would love to see our local spots at the Miami airport.
We do have local spots. Whatever, shout out to Burgermeister. This is a very smart guy. I like his content. Anyways, yeah, so I think the local food at the Miami airports, man, you don't really got to do much in a Miami airport, man. All you got to do is just do the Cuban bakery thing at the Miami airport, and we're good. It should be Miami food in different categories, right? So you got the bakery with the cafecito and the croquetas and the pastelitos, right? And then you've got the lunch aspect of the lunch factor of it, right? You've got Cuban sandwiches, chicken sandwiches, medianoche, right? And then you got the higher end tier where you got like the maduros, the pork shoulder, the rice and beans. That's all you need. If you add anything else, man, you're not really. How are you gonna brand yourself as a Miami airport if you're not out there doing Miami shit, man? There needs to be, you know what they should allow in the airports to really make it feel like you are visiting the city that you're currently in? You gotta allow local performances. For example, if you go to the New Orleans, if you go to the New Orleans airport, you should have like old school 1920s jazz musicians. You know what I'm saying? And I've been to the New Orleans airport and they've got like those beignets. I think that's what they're called. But beignets are like the little donut, soft, doughy with a bunch of powdered sugar on it, which kind of looks like Miami if you really consider the snow aspect of it. But in Miami, what they should do is they should allow some sort of performance where local security makes it seem like they're seizing somebody that has luggage full of bricks, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be, like an illegal arrest, but it should be like a street performance, right? Like, what would it be like for a Miami cop to stop someone and saying, we need to search your bag? And, the dog's barking. Everyone's, a bunch of cops show up. There's a big commotion. People are watching. They're pulling out their phones, recording. And then they kind of do like a little play out of it, right? Like, oh, what's this? Like, oh, that's baby powder, man. I got kids back home. I just wanted to take some baby powder back to them. I think that would be a really cool way for airports to brand themselves, not just the food, but also performances. Let the people know that you're in the city that you're visiting in, man. I think that's next level. I don't think the food will do it. I think it'll do. I think the arts and culture of what Miami or any other city is branded as, you put that there. So, for example, another performance, if you go to New York and, some guy with a big old pot belly eating a New York hot dog walks up to you and says, well, who's your favorite baseball team? And if you say anything other than the New York Yankees, he breaks a bottle over your head. I don't know, something like that. I think there should be performances. But anyways, the local food in Miami should be divided into three factors. At the Miami International Airport. Oh yeah, and another reason why I think performances should be allowed inside of the airports is because, have you been to a Miami International Airport line lately? I remember when I was younger, in my 20s, and I would take flights, the lines were never as long as they are now. The lines are literally like, you see it bend over the pillars, like going like around. I've never seen so many people lined up for flights, and it's not even to locations that I would consider a Miami destination. Like, people in Miami are going to Cleveland, Ohio? Why? Or is it because all those people from Cleveland, Ohio came to Miami at the same time and they're taking a flight back? Maybe that's why. As a matter of fact, I think that's what it is. There's so many people visiting our city that the Miami International Airport, all the lines in every single city is jam-packed all the way down. So anyways, allow local performances to happen at airports. Not only do you get a taste of the city you're visiting, but it also makes waiting in line bearable. 3 factors: the Cuban bakery, Cuban sandwich shop, and Cuban dishes. All right. Let's continue. What else do we got? Speaking of Cubans, WFLA says many Cubans and Cuban Americans in South Florida are unhappy with the Trump administration over its treatment of migrants from the Caribbean island, according to the new Miami Herald poll. It's the Miami Herald poll, bro. You can't just... All right. Here's the thing about data. It depends how drunk I am based on how I pronounce that word. Data is a snapshot, and according to this poll, a newspaper did it. I don't know. I don't really know how accurate that would be. But majority of Cuban Americans in South Florida disapprove of deportations, according to the poll. Let's see what the comments say. They disapprove of Cuban deportations while applauding all other deportations. Whatever. They voted for this. Okay. Cuban Trump vote. Okay. Oh, well, maybe they... Here's the thing about politics, man. This is why I don't get into it. It's just everybody bickering over something they've got no control over. What is this going to do? And look, and then the worst thing is people then get on... People can't show face when they share these opinions, so we can go on burner accounts because they got to get it off their chest. But if I were to share my take on all this, I think Cuba is about to see liberation, and I would always hope that I could see that in my lifetime. Why? I have a lot of Cuban friends, currently and growing up. I've dated a lot of Cuban ladies, right? I've been to a couple of activist things when it comes to Cuba liberation, and I gotta admit, man, the Cuban people, they're great. They're funny, great food, The older folks are very loving. You know, they take you in, they look after you. And then, of course, this is my personal experience. And I think it's way long overdue to take over a country where poverty is rampant to its own civilians, and the army is literally riding bicycles. Like, what are we waiting for? It's right there. And, you know, the tourism is going to explode. It already is. In the current state it's in, the tourism in Cuba is like one of the main money makers. So why not, as Americans, why don't we look at that money they're making in tourism and be like, we could use some of that. Right? It's a disgrace for humanity for such a wonderful country to be in such poverty. You know, their culture's great. Love the music. Love the Latinas there, right? Love the comedy that comes from there. The culture's amazing. And if the only industry that's making money there is tourism, that's what we're all about in Miami. As a matter of fact, the overpopulation problem we have in our city can easily just be transferred over to Cuba. You know how many people would leave Miami if Cuba became one of the keys? It would be Miami Part 2. We would be Miami Part 2. That would be Miami 1. The cradle of Miami civilization over in Cuba. Que hola, primo. Pendejo. Shout out to all the people that give you backhanded compliments on the chat. I see you, bro. Get it off your chest. Whatever you see in me is just a reflection of you, bro. Pendejo, how dare you? Anyways, yeah, so I really hope that during this presidency we do get to see Cuba liberated. I think it'll be a dope thing to see, a historic thing in our lifetime. You know, remember the Berlin Wall? When, as a matter of fact, let's ask AI, shall we? Describe to me the taking down of the Berlin Wall, how it was put up, why it was put down, and how that historic moment in time can be very similar by Cuba being liberated by the United States of America, and how that would impact society, particularly in the city of Miami. All right, let's see what AI's got to say. You went from playground trauma to Cold War geopolitics. That escalated like a highlight ball to the face. Let's break this down cleanly because there's a real story here and then there's Miami imagination version of it. How the Berlin Wall was put up. After World War II, Germany got split into two, West Germany and East Germany. Berlin itself was also split, even though it sat deep inside East Germany. By 1961, East Germany had a problem. People were leaving, a lot of them, like this country is emptying out levels. So overnight, they threw up barbed wire, then concrete. That wall became the Berlin Wall. See, so there's a similarity of Cuba, where a lot of people wanted to leave Cuba. There was a window where they allowed them to leave, but then they closed off the window, and then you can't, right? So I knew there was something that was very similar to the Berlin Wall. So stop people from escaping communism, maintain control, prevent economic collapse from brain drain. Translation, we built a wall to keep our own people in. Why it came down. In the late 1980s, the Soviet Union was weakening. Eastern Europe was revolting politically, not fashion-wise, although both happened. I like how it just throws those little tidbits in there. People in East Germany were protesting nonstop. Then in 1989, a government official basically misspoke on TV about travel rules. People heard the border is open and said, cool, we're going now. Guards didn't stop them. Crowd showed up, climbed the wall. Also, it was just a miscommunication that allowed this to happen. That's what I want. I want something. I want the shit to hit the fan and then it just domino effects into, all right, Cuba's open, everybody. You can go in or you can go out. Do you know how many ferries and jet ski companies and cruise lines would open up as soon as Cuba became overtaken by America? It'll be Key West West. We'll build a bridge over to it. The wall didn't fall because of one army. It fell because the system holding it up stopped working. Sounds very familiar to me. The real lesson before we jump to Cuba. The Berlin Wall wasn't just concrete. It was a political system under pressure, a population that lost belief in it, a shift in global power dynamics. It collapsed from the inside as much as the outside. Now, the Cuba comparison. Here's where it gets tricky, and people love to oversimplify it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, AI. Am I oversimplifying it? Show me where I'm wrong. Comparing Cuba to East Germany is tempting because both had restricted movement historically, both had state-controlled systems, both had large diaspora communities. Hello, Miami. Oh, fuck. I gotta look up what diaspora. Diaspora. Isn't that like a dystopian thing? Diaspora definition. Let's see if I got my vocabulary right. The scattering or dispersion of people, culture, or language from their original ancestors. Okay, got it. That's how reality behaves. But the idea of the U.S. just liberating Cuba like flipping a switch, that's how reality behaves. Why it's not a clean comparison. East Germany collapsed partly because the Soviet Union stopped backing it. Cuba, yeah, so Venezuela stopped backing Cuba. AI is not perfect. I want you guys to see some of the flaws it has as well. Cuba has its own political structure, history, and international relationships. A direct U.S. liberation would mean major political consequences, not a celebratory montage with hammers and spray paint. No, it's gonna be full. It's gonna be cruise lines and jet skis and reggaeton music and a bridge and the brand new drug mule route. History is less hero breaks wall and more systems slowly unravel until something snaps. But let's say Cuba opens up, Miami goes crazy. Now this part is particularly interesting. If Cuba suddenly opened economically, allowed free travel, integrated into global markets, Miami would react like someone just announced free cafecito for life. Okay, I get it. You're trying to be very Miami. Massive travel boom between Miami and Havana, right? Families reconnecting at scale. Some of them. You think some of these Cuban dads want to see their kids over there? Like, no. I was on a permanent vacation. Why? They'd be upset. Oh my God. I gotta see my son in Cuba. Oh no. Surge in business investment. Yeah, that's for sure. Cultural impact. Cuban culture is already baked into Miami, but now it becomes direct, real-time exchange, not nostalgia-based. New artists, comedians, musicians flooding both directions. That'd be dope. Economic shift. Miami becomes the gateway to Cuba. Banks, airlines, trade hubs. Brickell will start acting like it just discovered a new personality trait. The irony. A lot of what Miami romanticizes about Cuba would get disrupted by modernization. You know what? That's a great perspective. As much as we love Cuba and the culture of it, once Cuba becomes liberated, all the vintage things and all the cultural roots of it will definitely become modernized. I mean, you see it already. You see all those Cuban people that are like deep into the reggaeton, pop art. Like they've already got the gold chains with the finger paint. I mean, with the nail polish and the lines and all that. That's, yeah. I kind of see, yeah, they're pop culture Cuban, right? The same people saying keep it authentic would be booking luxury rooftop brunches in Havana within 6 months. Yeah. Hey, I never thought of that. As much as I like the Cuban culture, if I see Cuba become liberal, I mean, small price to pay, bro. You know, I romanticize the 90s, and I know for a fact that decade is over. The best decade, by the way. Look, I'm out here wearing tie-dye, wearing a 90s anime shirt. I still romanticize it. It doesn't mean like it's going away. We can think back when Buena Vista Social Club was crushing it in the AM airwaves. But, you know, times they change. And sometimes they got to in order for people to get freedom. So, all right, fair enough, I guess. The similarity isn't wall falls, U.S. saves the day. It's this. The system reaches pressure. People lose faith. Change happens fast once it starts. The Berlin Wall fell in a night, but the conditions took decades. If anything like that ever happened in Cuba, it wouldn't be because of one country deciding it. Does AI not know who's in office right now? That guy can wake up and make that decision while eating his Frosted Flakes, bro. Okay? You have one plane doing a perimeter across Cuba, and they know what time it is. It would be because internal and external forces finally lined up. Comedy angle, because you're not asking. Berlin Wall, we built a wall to keep people in. U.S. politics, we built a wall to keep people out. Miami, we don't build walls, we build brunch lines and traffic. And you know Cuban breakfast for brunch would be amazing. Oh, I can already imagine the kind of dishes some sort of fancy Cuban fusion restaurant would make, like ropa vieja with 2 fried eggs on top. Oh, delicious and full of protein. What? And if Cuba opens up, Miami's whole identity crisis becomes, are we the destination or are we just the waiting room? Exactly. You see? AI and I, we have some things in common. All right? Comedians can use AI. Just make sure you're the one leading the jokes. All right? Because if you're taking the jokes off AI, number one, you're not going to get good at telling or getting the ideas for jokes. And number two, it's not going to come off right. I say if Cuba opens up, Miami would be the first, and Miami would be the second. I mean, Cuba would be the first Miami, and then Miami would be the second Miami, right? And then the way AI says it is like, well, is Cuba the destination? No, is Miami the destination, or is it just the waiting room to go to Cuba? Bam, there you go. Now you got some wordplay, you got some perspectives. Next thing you know, you got a great 5-minute bit about Cuba. But shout out to all the Cuban people. I hope your country gets liberated, okay? I've been waiting to see it myself. I think it'd be dope. Let's continue. Wait, what time is it? Oh, it's 8:40. Well, let's do one more thing. I wanted to do this. I wanted to go over my website and show you guys the shows and some funny AI photos I made. So here's me putting some money in a church basket and the wicker basket for Alai. Because if you're putting money gambling on the sport, you might as well go to church to ask God to help you get the money back. All right, so comedy shows this week. Actually, tonight, Little Havana, thank you, Miami Comedy Night. Shout out to Alex, the owner. He just signed a brand new 10-year lease. 10 years! We're going to be there telling the jokes. So it's already a historic site. If you guys want to see what life as a comedian is like, working out jokes in front of a bar crowd, they've got great selection of beers and great munchie food, by the way. Delicious for late night munchies. Too Lit Tuesday. Oh, the Blackbird Comedy Show productions have been getting a little too lit. And I mean that. I mean, this pregame / laughter party thing we've got going on here, you've never seen anything like this when it comes to comedy in the city of Miami, man. Like, we go up to a crowd that shows up at 9. They take shots. We work the crowd. We hit on the ladies. Why? Because right after the show, it's ladies' night, and ladies drink free till 1 a.m. Bottles are also $150. So if you want to know what it's like to be a property owner, you can lease a VIP section by getting a bottle at Blackbird Ordinary. Very affordable, and you get to feel like a landlord for about an hour and a half, depending on how many people drink your bottle. And let me tell you, man, I want to take a World Guinness Book of Records timer, and I want to record how fast the bottle gets down at a VIP section. Hey, I think that's pretty good. I think that'd be a good bit. World Guinness Book Records for how fast a bottle empties at a VIP section. See what it's like to be a landlord in the city of Miami for an hour. At $150, it's a great experience. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to spend $150 at the bar anyway, right? Even though ladies drink free, they still want to see you buy them something. You know how many times I've been to Blackbird Ordinary on a Tuesday and I would buy girls drinks and still pay for it? And the ladies love it, right? They can get that drink for free, but they want you to buy it. You want to talk to me? Spend some money, even though I can get it for free. I want to see you buy it. Buy it! And then you get them a drink, you give you a little chit-chat, and then they just disappear in the crowd, man. And then you're just there holding the drink. It's like, well, at least I got some experience talking to a girl. Oh, yeah, the Miami Comedy membership. Shout out to all the people that are on the group chat. This is a VIP texting group where you get hooked up. Just let us know when you want to come out to a show. We'll hold on to your spot. We'll give you some drink perks. I got sometimes, your boy gets a little bit of a bar tab. He shares it with his people. So, join the Miami Comedy membership, and we'll chit-chat there. If you ever want to come out to a show, just shoot us a message there. All right. And then Friday, we're back at Thank You Miami, and Solid Saturday at Blackbird Ordinary. So there you have it, guys. Also, if you want to go to comedy shows in the city of Miami or nearby, like Fort Lauderdale or something, Jim Jeffries is going to be at the Al Rene Theater. And at the Hard Rock Live, you got Chris Tucker. If you buy the tickets through our website, we get a little kickback and no extra cost to you. Also, the big project as to why your boy disappeared in a garage for the last 90 days was because he was vibe coding like a computer scientist. The brand new comedycalendar.com project. And Renat Yu says, we saw you on the street. Was I asleep? Was I blacked out drunk? How did you see me on the street? Did you give me $1? You should have said, what's up, bro? You know how many people say, hey, the Miami comedy guy. I don't mind the branding. Comedycalendar.com. Leaving the borders of Miami and going national. Anytime you go to any city, all over the US of A, all major cities, 100 plus cities. I got over 1,000 comedy shows, all listed in a directory at comedycalendar.com. Just click any of those links, and you'll get directed to the Ticketmaster site or the resale site if they're available. And then your boy gets a little kickback from that as well. And guess what? I'm going to be the face of Comedy Calendar. I'll be your tour guide, visiting these cities, going to comedy shows, performing in the underbelly. And this is going to be the future of your boy, all right? This is going to be the next big project, and I'm excited. I've already visited most major cities in America, but it's time to see them again. And then sharing it with you guys and all the comedy show and the history of it, all right? And then the Brickell Boys, in case you guys don't know, I'm piecing together some of the best comedians in the city of Miami to go perform at Blackbird Ordinary. We're soft launching a podcast / skit thing. If you guys want to see the beta version of the Brickell Boys, just check out the YouTube channel. I'll be doing a podcast this week. I haven't put an official audio podcast in a minute. However, this is the link for the Spotify. Also, the podcast video clip of the week is I saw an invitation for a live streaming event, and then I shared my thoughts on that. Miami Comedy merch. Look, this 10-year anniversary shirt, it's about to be 11 years in May. All right, I've got literally like a dozen more of these shirts. I don't have them in like large or XL, right? Because the people out there love their beer and burgers and Cuban sandwiches, so those are gone. But I got like small and medium, just like around, right? And I've been trying to get rid of these, but they don't fit. If you want the last few of the 10-year anniversary shirt, here's the thing. For those that don't know, I think for the last 5 or 6 years, whenever we print the Flemmy the Flamingo logo shirt, once they're sold out, we never print them again. So this is like capturing a chapter or a moment in Miami comedy. And then you get to keep that shirt. These are quality shirts, like screen printed, right? Not printed on. We've got a few left. If you want to get a piece of the history that is the Miami Comedy Project, can you help me get rid of these shirts? I swear to God, I'm just going to throw them out at people at a show or something. And then that way I can get into designing the new shirt. The hats are sold out, though. The trucker hats, sold out. Thank you to everybody that got those, by the way. And I'm sorry if these shirts don't fit. I'm a large myself, man. I'm not, I get it. Skit of the week, I did a little live stream party after riffing. Put a little TBT clip here. And also, if you guys want to find your sense of humor, I also do coaching on the side. Been doing it for 5 years, man. And some great comedians came from my work. We'll just leave it at that. Visit MannyGaravito.com to see my coaching side. And shout out to WikiHow for picking me up as one of their comedy experts, which is great, man. WikiHow is a huge website. And they found me, and they reached out to me, and they said, hey, we'd love to get some of your stuff on our website because you know what you're talking about. And I'm like, wow, WikiHow thinks I'm an expert. So if you're interested in comedy coaching, I'm an expert, according to WikiHow. All right, that is it for this. You know what? I've been trying to do these daily, so I'm not going to say this week. That is it for tonight's live stream of the Miami Comedy Podcast. I thank you guys for those that are on the chat, communicating, interacting, sharing, any sort of interaction during the live stream. I'm very thankful. Because of you guys, I'm able to riff and have fun while doing these recordings. Visit MiamiComedy.com or ComedyCalendar.com to laugh.